Thank you for your time. Where are you from?
I'm from Portugal.
Portugal.
Yes.
Okay. Lisbon?
No, Porto.
Porto.
Yes.
Okay. So is it first time to come to Japan?
Yes, it's my first time.
So how long have you been in Japan so far?
So I'm going to stay 2 weeks. I've been around 1 week and a half for now. Yeah.
Okay. What brought you to Japan? Like, what was the main reason to come to Japan?
Well, it was my dream to come to Japan for a long time because I really love anime and games. I work for the gaming industry, so
Really?
yeah.
Are you like programmer or something like that?
No, I'm an artist.
Artist?
Yeah, I do art for video games.
Wow.
Yeah. They're mobile games, but still games. So yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
very impressive.
Thank you.
Okay. So you like Japanese cartoon, like anime?
Yes, I really love anime.
Like, did you picture Japan from the scenery you've seen in anime, or you know that it is different?
Well, I did picture it from anime and from movies, from Studio Ghibli, etc. And I mean, it's pretty similar actually. Some things I'm like, oh my god, this is really just like anime and like the movies.
Okay.
Yeah, some stuff.
Okay.
At least.
Can I ask, like, specifically what kind of scenery did you find? Wow, it is kind of anime.
For example, when I'm on the train and the scenery is passing by really fast,
yes.
it reminds me of movies and subway scenes like Kimi no Na wa
Yes,
and
yes.
Movies like
At the
those.
center of Tokyo.
Yes, center of Tokyo and yeah, with the rural areas as well, like yeah, from the movies and anime.
Okay.
Really similar.
So you are always like kind of in dream.
Yes,
Every
yes,
day here.
yes. Sometimes I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm inside an anime or a movie or something. Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay. So what did you like the most in Japan?
Well, I like the people; they're very friendly, and I like how safe I feel because I do feel safe even at night at late hours. And the environment, for example, in the city centers, the lights, the neons, the life, it's all full of light. It's like it's day, but during the nighttime. I really like it.
You mean in Tokyo?
Yes, Tokyo. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Shibuya, Shinjuku, those areas, they're very lively. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we talked about Japan now, but today as a main topic, I want to ask mainly about your country. So probably you've been to many countries and comparing the other culture, what do you like about your country?
I feel safe in my country. Not as safe as here, but I feel safe. I like that, obviously. I like the people. We are very friendly, very warm. We are a bit rough sometimes, but it's like in a good way. We like hugs, we like kissing and
For us, we kind of tend to categorize all Europeans into the same category. But do you see some difference between your people and other Europeans, like Italian, Spanish, and French and so on?
a little bit, yeah. I mean, Italians and Spanish, from my experience, they're a bit louder than Portuguese. Like when they're in crowds, they speak super loud and they're a bit more taking our space. I mean, Portuguese are a bit like that, but not so much. I think we are a bit more respectful. But again, I don't want to offend the whole Italians or the whole Spanish people, but my impression is that we are a bit more quiet. Still warm, but a bit more quiet, less taking space.
I see. So
Yeah.
national personality is different.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But other than people, what do you like about your country?
The food.
Food.
I like the food. We have a lot of variety, and if you go to a restaurant and you don't eat certain things, maybe you're vegan or vegetarian, they always cater to you and they try to do something that you can eat, even if it's not on the menu. Yeah, and it's not expensive and it's not cheap, but it's okay. But there are some very cheap places where you can eat and you eat very, very well. That's what I like about Porto specifically, because if you go to Lisbon, it's not the same. Everything is very expensive, even if it's like a small portion. So, yeah.
there's like big difference
Yeah.
between Porto and. So what do you recommend? What food do you recommend?
Well, francesinha, which is like a sandwich with some sauce on the top and an egg. It's very distinguishable, very orange. Also, pastel de nata, which is like a pastry with custard inside. It's very Portuguese. I don't know. I'm a vegetarian, so yeah, but I do eat those options without the meat. But when I did eat meat, maybe some bifanas, which is like bread with some meat inside, which is very good as well. It has like amazing sauces. We do amazing food. Bacalhau, which is cod fish, but we do it in like tons of different ways, and they're all delicious. I guess all the meat, all the seafood is very good, especially on the seaside, like Porto, it's very good, or Algarve.
Okay, so like you mentioned, that you are vegetarian.
Yeah.
And sometimes I hear from vegetarian people that it is a little bit hard to be vegetarian in Japan because there is not many options compared to European country.
Yeah.
What about in Portugal? As a vegetarian, do you think it is hard or it is fine to be a vegetarian in Portugal?
In Portugal, it's easy. I think it's nowadays it's much easier than it was like when I became a vegetarian like 10 years ago. I think it's much easier now because in the supermarkets they have lots of stuff that you can eat, some prepared meat stuff, or I mean you can just avoid all of that and just eat vegetables, and those are very cheap there. Vegetables, fruit, grains, those are cheap, which compared to here, I can see that vegetables and fruit are a bit more expensive here, and they need to be like perfect, or they have like certain regulations that we don't have there. We have like very ugly fruit, very ugly vegetables, but they taste delicious and they're cheap.
In Japan, like fruit and vegetables should be like look fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's culture, I guess. It's fine, but you know, it's very good for you, and it's so bad that it's so expensive.
For you, was it difficult to travel Japan as vegetarian, like to find a place to eat?
It's a little bit challenging sometimes, but I do tend to ask stuff without the meat, or just go to places like pre-searched places that I know that are vegetarian or have some vegetarian stuff, but it's fine.
Okay.
I've been eating well.
Okay. What do you eat? I don't know what vegetarians eat in Japan, but what do you enjoy eating here?
I mean, tofu, fried tofu, you do tofu very well. Ramen in general, without the meat, just
Vegetarian ramen.
Yeah, vegetarian ramen, or tempura, but with the vegetable tempura, stuff like that. That's what I've been eating. It's very good. Or the omurice is very good as well.
Okay.
I don't know, I've eaten a ton of stuff. And pastries, all kinds of pastries.
Okay.
They're very good, the sweets.
There are enough like
The
option to enjoy. Okay. It was very nice to talk with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Where are you from?
We are from India.
India. Okay. So you're visiting, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been so far in Japan?
Over 2 weeks. Yeah, little over 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Where have you been in Japan?
Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and then came to Hiroshima today.
So like you've been to multiple cities in Japan?
We were staying there for a couple of days in each places, and we just came to Hiroshima today.
Okay. So what is your impression of Japan so far?
The impression is people are extremely organized, and everything is pretty much, in its place, and the infrastructure is brilliant here, and public transportation is awesome. Even like when we were commuting, like we didn't feel much of difficulty, even though we don't know much of Japanese, so we were able to easily go around and come around, and that was very good.
Okay. So you mentioned a little bit about impression of Japan, but today's main topic is what do you like about your country? So what comes to your mind when you think about what is like good part of your country, what you are proud of about your country?
I think is more of people are more social over there. Like you can just strike up a conversation with anyone. But I think not many people are up for, they will just strike up any conversation, where they are more friendlier there is what I felt.
Other than that, I think in India, the one thing is different is every city is extremely different from the other city.
That's
So
true.
there is
diverse inside of the
so
that's
inside
true.
the country, even if you go within a state, two cities will look completely different than each other.
Yeah.
No two cities look the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you from in India?
I am from Hyderabad. She's from Chennai.
I'm from Chennai. So both are in South India.
South
but
India.
he's from a different state and I'm from a different state.
Yeah.
As for Japan, Japan is very different in West and East.
Yeah.
So like in dialect, food, and like atmosphere of people. Like you mentioned that in Japanese people, basically not so social.
Good.
But if you go to Osaka, it is different.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
in Osaka it was little different.
It is like difference inside Japan. But what kind of like difference in India, like about like dialect
No,
or
the language is different.
The language,
So each state has almost each state has its own language.
Yeah.
There are multiple languages,
and multiple dialogues. And
multiple dialects inside language. So inside a single state, two cities will seem
Haven't.
completely different.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's like, so the state I am from is Telangana, which used to be called Andhra Pradesh. Like there used to be two states together. But inside that, so the language spoken is Telugu, but there are two different major dialects. One is Telangana, one is Andhra style dialect. And they sound completely different.
So couldn't you like communicate it?
No, but you can still understand, but they sound different to each other. Like you will know where the person is from based on how they're speaking.
That is inside one state.
Inside one state.
So
from-
complicated.
Very complicated.
No, that is also one thing. Since everyone speaks Japanese in this entire country, I think that is one thing.
At least, yeah, you guys, there's a more uniformity here
Yeah.
compared to that. Like it's all, it's the same language, even though they're different dialects. You can understand each other
Yes,
across
yes.
the country.
Correct.
Right? That is
That's
not
not
the case.
there.
So if somebody from North India comes to Tamil Nadu and starts talking, nobody will understand him. And
Okay.
Yeah.
and the person from South India goes there and speaks Tamil, nobody's going to understand that.
I think the most commonly people will try to speak in English, if
Or
not
Hindi.
in Hindi. Hindi is like
Also official, like common
not
language.
official.
not
It's more
official.
like a
National
unofficial national language.
Like it's something that people try to learn,
Yeah.
even if they're not from that state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hindi.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
But-
is the language.
But do all Indian people understand Hindi? No.
There
No.
are some people who still don't.
Yeah.
Okay. What about English? All people know
English, almost all of them understand.
Yeah, in most cities, yes. But when you go to the rural areas,
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So in rural area, they know only their
The
language.
regional
the
languages.
regional languages only.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So India is very big. Okay. So what about like atmosphere or people? Like
That is actually there is a lot of differences, but I think you have to split it up across states. South India and North India if you take it up. But I think people are more westernized in a cultural aspect in North India
Maybe.
you know,
and South India. Like yes, they are rooted to their own traditional values, but I'm saying in your dressing or like the lifestyle basically is more western in North India than in South India.
Even their music. I feel
Yeah,
like
even
the
in
North Indian
music.
music is more towards the Western style. In South India, I think the
It's
music is very diverse.
Yeah.
Like it's all, I don't know, it feels like when you hear the song, you'll know it's a South Indian song. Like it's an Indian song.
That's true. So the cultural aspect also, I think South India is a little more conventionally traditional than Western. Like yeah, we do have more modern ideologies, but I think not as much as people in North India. That's a relative comparison.
That's based on what we've seen.
Yeah.
There can be
It
people who
can
have
be
seen
it
different
can be
things.
biased. I don't know.
okay. So even though it is like biased and you're from southern
Yeah.
India, but do you think that southern India is more like authentic
Yeah.
India?
Not authentic.
Not authentic. That's not true.
I'm saying traditional in a way, but even dressing. When it comes to dressing, I think people are more open to trying new things in North India than in South India.
Okay.
Something like that.
In northern part, like people are more open.
Yeah. Even like I think North India people are more open to you say love marriages, but arranged marriage is still a very huge concept in South India.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, talking about.
Okay. So as for marriage,
Yeah.
it's still traditional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still there. Yeah.
Okay. So lastly, we talked about your country a lot. So do you recommend us to visit India?
Yeah.
If so, what do you recommend us to experience? Like some food, places, some experience?
For me, I can recommend food. So there is a thing called South Indian meals when you go to restaurants like proper, South Indian restaurants. So they will give you a platter. You have rice, you have rasam, you have that one you have to try.
Then you have inside Hyderabad, you can go to like basic stuff. Like Charminar is like one place where you get great night food, and it's a very historic place as well. So there's like a historic monument surrounded by shops and streets and markets, and the market will remind you of the Osaka market type of bustle crowd, that kind of crowd, and everywhere is food. So it will give you that kind of vibe, similar to what you got in Osaka.
Okay.
But it'll be more Indian style, like it'll look completely different, but you'll get the same energy.
Okay.
That is one thing. Then places to visit in Tamil Nadu, again, I would say the temples. So
Yeah.
a lot of the temples are extremely old and have beautiful architecture that is like unlike something you would have seen here.
Is
So-
it like Hinduism?
Correct.
temple?
The
It's
Hindu
like
temples,
Hindu
yeah.
temples, yes.
So the ancient temples that are still built today and still standing,
Mm-hmm.
those have very beautiful architectures inside.
I would suggest you go to Mahabalipuram. So that is like you have a lot of temples and it's very well known for the architecture. So that is one place you can go to see if you want to see architecture in Tamil Nadu. That is one thing.
Tons of recommendation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It was very nice to talk with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
ご視聴ありがとうございました。いかがだったでしょうか？動画のご感想やテーマのご要望などコメント欄で教えていただけますと幸いです。たくさんのコメントお待ちしております。チャンネル登録の際は通知ボタンもお忘れなく。